A woman with no boundaries will always be replaceable. But a woman with strong boundaries? She becomes unforgettable, magnetic, rare, and impossible to resist. Boundaries are not walls, they are the real definition of self-worth. And today, you're about to see why the women who set standards are the women men respect, desire, and never forget. Boundaries are often misunderstood. Some women believe that setting limits will push men away, that saying no will make them lose love. But psychology proves the opposite. Boundaries don't destroy attraction, they create it. When you set a boundary, you're not building a wall, you're building a filter. You're saying, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I won't settle for less. That's not rejection, that's self-respect. Here's the truth. Men respect what they cannot easily control. A woman without boundaries becomes predictable. She always says yes. She always adjusts. She always forgives without change. And what happens? She loses value in his eyes. But the woman who carries standards, who calmly says, "That doesn't work for me," flips the script. She communicates without begging that her love is not a discount. And that single shift makes him work harder, respect deeper, and commit stronger. Think about this. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you betray yourself. You teach the world that your feelings don't matter. And worse, you teach him that he can cross your line with no consequence. But when you firmly, gracefully say no, you send a powerful message. I value myself more than temporary approval. That one word, no, builds respect faster than 1,000 yeses. Because no is not rejection, it's protection. Men don't crave what's always available. They crave what's rare, and boundaries make a woman rare. When you don't reply instantly to every text, when you don't accept last-minute plans, when you don't say yes to disrespect disguised as love, you create mystery. And mystery is magnetic. He begins to wonder, what is she doing? Why doesn't she jump every time I call? What makes her so disciplined? That curiosity turns into attraction. That attraction turns into respect. And respect is the foundation of lasting love. Let's get brutally honest. A woman with no boundaries becomes replaceable. Why? Because she trains him to believe that no matter how poorly he treats her, she will always be there. Think about it. If she forgives lies without change, if she accepts broken promises without consequence, if she tolerates disrespect because she fears losing him, she communicates one dangerous message: my love is cheap. And the truth is, anything that feels cheap never feels valuable. But boundaries make your love expensive, worth protecting, worth earning, worth keeping. Here's the secret most women never realize. The day you set boundaries, the power dynamic shifts. You stop being the one trying to prove your worth, and he starts proving his. Instead of asking, what can I do to keep him interested? You create a new question in his mind. What do I need to do to keep her? That's the psychology of attraction at its deepest level. Boundaries flip the chase. They move you from desperate energy to magnetic energy. And men never forget women who carry that kind of presence. Now let's clear a myth. Boundaries are not about being cold, rude, or arrogant. They're not about pushing love away. Boundaries are about clarity, about calmly saying, this doesn't work for me, this is what I need, and if you can't provide it, I'm okay with walking away. That kind of calm strength doesn't kill attraction. It multiplies it. Because nothing is more powerful than a woman who can speak her truth without raising her voice. Masculine energy is about chasing. Feminine energy is about attracting. But here's the key. Attraction without boundaries collapses. Without standards, attraction turns into confusion. Love turns into chaos. Respect disappears. But when feminine energy is backed by boundaries, everything changes. Suddenly, your softness is respected. Your kindness is not taken for granted. Your love becomes sacred. Because real men don't want endless availability. They want rare, irreplaceable energy. And boundaries are what protect that energy. Every powerful woman you admire, from leaders to icons, from businesswomen to queens of history, has one thing in common. They protect their time, their energy, and their peace. They don't say yes to everything. They don't allow disrespect in the name of love. They don't let anyone dictate their worth. Boundaries are not selfish. They're necessary. Because if you don't protect yourself, no one else will. Here's a truth most women overlook. Boundaries don't just create attraction, they create loyalty. When a man knows that you won't tolerate lies, that you won't accept broken promises, that you won't allow half-hearted love, he either steps up or steps out. And guess what? The man who chooses to stay? He stays with respect. He stays loyal. Because he knows he has something valuable to lose. Boundaries build relationships where loyalty isn't begged for. It's earned. Men don't regret losing women who gave them everything without standards, but they always regret losing the woman who had boundaries. Why? Because that woman cannot be replaced. You can find beauty anywhere. You can find kindness anywhere. But a woman with strength, self-respect, and standards? That combination is rare, and rare things are unforgettable. Psychology shows us this. The harder something is to replace, the more the mind obsesses over it. That's why women with boundaries live rent-free in men's minds long after the relationship ends. Attraction gets his attention, but respect earns his commitment. And respect only grows in the presence of boundaries. Think about it. A man might be physically drawn to a woman, but if she allows constant disrespect, attraction dies. On the other hand, when a woman holds her standards, a man begins to see her differently. Not just as someone beautiful, but as someone valuable. And that shift, from attraction to respect, is what makes him choose her over everyone else. Every relationship goes through testing moments, and boundaries are the ultimate test of his intention. When you say, "This doesn't work for me," watch carefully. Does he adjust, or does he disappear? The wrong man will walk away, because he was only here for convenience. The right man will rise up, because he's here for commitment. Boundaries don't scare away love. They scare away fake love, and that's the best filter you'll ever have. A woman's greatest gift is her emotional energy, her softness, her compassion, her ability to nurture. But without boundaries, that gift gets drained, wasted, and taken for granted. Boundaries are how you protect your emotional wealth. When you refuse drama, toxic cycles, and disrespect, you save your energy for the right man, the right people, the right life. And trust me, nothing is more attractive than a woman who protects her peace. Here's something that might surprise you. The moment a woman walks away with self-respect, even men who didn't value her feel it. Because leaving with dignity speaks louder than staying with desperation. It tells him, "I love myself more than I fear losing you." And psychology proves this. Humans always value what they cannot control. That's why men never forget the woman who was strong enough to walk away. Here's the hidden gift. Boundaries don't just transform women, they transform men too. When a man meets a woman with standards, he's forced to grow. He learns to communicate better, to show up with consistency, to honor his word, because he knows if he doesn't, she won't stay. Boundaries turn boys into men, and men secretly admire the women who demand their best, because those are the women who make them better. Without boundaries, you become another chapter in his book. With boundaries, you become the chapter he keeps rereading. Men forget women who gave without limits, but they never forget the woman who loved deeply and respected herself enough to set limits. Because boundaries transform your love from ordinary to extraordinary, from replaceable to unforgettable. So here's the truth. Boundaries don't push real love away. They protect it. They don't create distance. They create respect. Every high-value woman knows this. Self-respect is the foundation of attraction, loyalty, and long-term love. When you set boundaries, you stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop begging. You start choosing. You stop fearing loss. And you start embodying power. Because in the end, boundaries aren't just sexy. Boundaries are freedom. Boundaries are peace. Boundaries are the reason you'll never be forgotten. So the next time you're tempted to lower your standards just to keep someone, remember this. A woman without boundaries is replaceable. But a woman with boundaries? She becomes magnetic, unforgettable, and impossible to let go. Protect your peace, protect your worth, and watch how the world rises to meet you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a life-changing insight. And if this video helped you, give it a like to support the channel.